8 life hacks that give you an unfair advantage forever. Some skills take years, a degree, a mentor, thousands of hours of deliberate practice before you see anything resembling a result. These aren't those skills. What follows is a list of things that take just a few days to learn and decades to benefit from. Not because they're secret, not because they're complicated, because most people never actually sit down and do them. That's the whole gap. Not talent, not time, just the decision to start. Remembering people's names. You meet someone, they tell you their name. You smile, nod, and approximately 4 seconds later, it is completely gone. Vanished. And now you're 20 minutes into a conversation you will navigate entirely without it, quietly hoping they never ask you to introduce them to someone else. This isn't a memory problem. Memory has nothing to do with it. You weren't paying attention because the second they started talking, your brain was already rehearsing what you were going to say next. You heard the name. You just didn't catch it. The fix is almost insultingly simple. When someone gives you their name, use it immediately. Good to meet you, James. Then once more naturally during the conversation. Then again when you leave. 3 repetitions and it's locked. No memory tricks, no mental gymnastics, no embarrassing workarounds. The professional payoff alone is worth it. People in sales, leadership, and client-facing roles who consistently use names close more, retain more, and get trusted faster. Not because they're more qualified, because they made the other person feel like the only person in the room. Dale Carnegie called a person's name the sweetest sound in any language to that person. The psychology backs it up completely. Using someone's name signals presence. It signals that you were actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk. People forget what you said. They never forget how you made them feel. Make them feel remembered. It costs you nothing and pays you every single time. Say less. Talking too much is not a confidence problem. It's a comfort problem. Silence feels like a gap, and gaps feel dangerous, so you fill them. With extra sentences, over-explanations, qualifiers that weren't needed, and apologies for opinions you were completely entitled to have. The irony is that the more you add, the less people retain. Every unnecessary word dilutes the ones that actually mattered. Confident people figured this out early. In negotiation, silence after an offer is one of the most powerful tools available. The first person to speak after an offer lands is almost always the one who concedes. In conversation, a short answer followed by quiet makes people lean in rather than tune out. In presentations, the pause before your key point doubles its impact. The practice is simple and deeply uncomfortable. When you've made your point, stop. Don't add, "if that makes sense." Don't soften it with, "I could be wrong." Don't tag 3 extra sentences onto something that was already finished. Just stop and let the words do their job. 1 week of catching yourself mid-over-explanation changes how people receive you. You go from someone who nervously fills space to someone who only speaks when it's worth hearing. That's not a small shift. That's the difference between being tolerated in a room and being listened to in one. Less is not passive. Less is precise. And precision is a skill that pays you in every conversation for the rest of your life. Control your face. Most people have absolutely no idea what their face is doing at any given moment. You think you look engaged. You are visibly somewhere else entirely. You think you look calm. Your jaw is tight enough to crack a walnut, and every person in that room noticed before you did. Your face is making an argument before you open your mouth. In job interviews, first meetings, hard conversations, and every moment where someone is deciding whether to trust you, your expression is already talking. The question is whether it's saying what you think it is. Start with 60 seconds and a front camera. Not for a selfie. Just record yourself talking about something that genuinely frustrates you, then watch it back. What you see will be educational in the most humbling way possible. Eyebrows doing things you never authorized. A resting expression that reads as vaguely hostile. Micro-expressions you didn't know you had. Then practice the neutral. Slightly parted lips, relaxed jaw, soft eyes. It feels ridiculous to sit there practicing your own face. Do it anyway. Actors do it. Trial lawyers do it. Politicians who last longer than one term definitely do it. People form impressions in milliseconds. Not minutes, milliseconds. Your face is the opening statement in every single interaction. And right now, most people are delivering that statement completely unconsciously. Know what yours is saying. Then decide if that's actually what you mean. Box breathing. You already know how to breathe. You've been doing it your whole life without thinking about it. That's exactly the problem. Most people breathe like they're mildly panicking at all times. Shallow, fast, chest only. It keeps your nervous system locked in a low-level stress state from the moment you wake up to the moment you collapse into bed. And you've been so used to it for so long that it just feels like normal. It isn't normal. It's just familiar. There's a technique called box breathing. It takes 4 minutes to learn and about 5 days to actually feel. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Repeat. That's the entire skill. No app required, no equipment, no special room where you sit cross-legged and think about nothing. Navy SEALs use this before high-pressure operations. Surgeons use it before making incisions. You can use it before your Monday morning meeting and still show up feeling like a functioning adult instead of a caffeinated disaster held together by a deadline. 1 week of 4 minutes a day and your baseline anxiety drops noticeably. Focus sharpens. You stop reacting to small things like they're large things. The people around you will notice the difference before you consciously register it yourself. You've been breathing wrong your whole life. 4 seconds to fix it is an embarrassingly good deal. Wait for it. Every bad decision you've ever made was probably made quickly. The impulse purchase, the reply you shouldn't have sent, the thing you said out loud that you'd already decided internally to keep quiet. Speed felt like confidence in the moment. It wasn't. It was just impatience wearing a disguise. Your brain defaults to now. It was built that way. Immediate rewards register as survival. Future rewards register as abstract. Which means every time you choose the shortcut, the snack, the distraction, the path of least resistance, your brain isn't failing you. It's just doing exactly what it was designed to do 200,000 years ago when next week genuinely wasn't guaranteed. Rewiring it takes practice. Small, boring, consistent practice. Pick one thing you want right now and wait 10 minutes before you get it. That's the whole exercise. A snack, your phone, a coffee, a tab you were about to open for no real reason. Wait. Let the urge exist without immediately solving it. Most of the time it shrinks. Occasionally it vanishes, which is worth paying attention to. A study at Stanford tracked children who could delay gratification and found stronger health outcomes, higher performance, and better relationships decades later. One pause, compounding for a lifetime. The muscle that says not yet is the same one that finishes things, saves money, stays consistent when it stops being exciting. Train it on the trivial. It shows up exactly when the stakes are anything but. Micro recovery. You're not tired because you worked too much. You are tired because you never actually stopped. There is a difference between being inactive and recovering. Sitting on your phone between tasks is not a break. Your brain is still processing, still stimulated, still fully online. You swapped one screen for another and called it rest. It isn't rest. It's just a different kind of input wearing a more comfortable outfit. True recovery gives your nervous system an actual reset, and it takes between 5 and 10 minutes. Step outside. No phone. Look at something further than 20 feet away. Let your mind wander without feeding it content. Just exist for 5 minutes like it's 1994 and there's genuinely nothing to scroll through. Research on ultradian rhythms shows your brain naturally cycles through peaks and troughs roughly every 90 minutes. Most people hit the trough and fight it with caffeine and willpower instead of just stopping for 5 minutes and letting it pass. The result is that you grind through the low, blunt the next peak, and wonder why you feel completely hollow by 3 in the afternoon. 1 week of intentional micro-recovery between work blocks, and you'll finish the day having actually done more. Not because you worked harder, because you stopped pretending that exhaustion and productivity can exist in the same sentence. They can't. They never could. Turns out the most productive thing you can do is occasionally do nothing. Ask better questions. Most people are terrible at conversation, and they have no idea why. They show up, they engage, they ask questions. The problem is the questions. How was your weekend is not a question. It's a social formality wearing a question mark. The answer is always good or fine or busy, and then both of you stare into the middle distance, waiting for someone else to do something interesting. Better questions unlock actual humans. What was the best part of your week? Forces a real answer. What are you working on that has you genuinely excited right now? Makes someone light up or admit something honest. What's the hardest decision you're currently sitting with? Makes you the most interesting conversation someone has had in months. The skill is specificity. Vague questions get vague answers. Specific questions get stories. And stories are how people actually connect, remember each other, and decide whether they want to keep talking to you. Spend 1 week replacing every lazy question with a real one. At work, at dinner, on dates, in elevators, everywhere. The shift in how people respond will be immediate and slightly unsettling. You'll go from someone people politely tolerate to someone people actively seek out without changing a single thing about yourself except what you ask. Great conversationalists are not witty. They are curious. And the good news is, curiosity isn't a personality trait. It's a practice. Read the room. You walk into a meeting. Someone's arms are crossed. Someone else is nodding, but their eyes are completely vacant. The person at the end hasn't looked up from their laptop once. And you're about to present your idea like everyone is thrilled to be there. They are not thrilled to be there. Reading a room is a skill nobody teaches you, and almost everybody needs. It isn't mind reading. It's paying attention before you open your mouth. Noticing the energy before you decide whether to match it or change it. Spotting who the actual decision maker is, because it's almost never the loudest person. Here's how you train it in a week. Every time you enter a space, a meeting, a party, a cafe, an elevator, give yourself 5 seconds to scan before you speak. Who looks comfortable? Who looks closed off? Who is performing confidence and who actually has it? Do this for 7 days, and social dynamics start revealing themselves like subtitles you never noticed were there. Suddenly obvious. Suddenly everywhere. The people who move through the world with ease aren't luckier than you. They're not more naturally gifted. They're just reading what everyone else is walking straight past. The information was always there. They just decided to look at it. That decision is available to you right now. So is every single skill on this list. 8 skills. None of them require a course, a coach, a certification, or a personality you weren't born with. They require days to learn and a decision to start. The gap between people who have these skills and people who don't isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It's just the boring, unglamorous choice to practice something small until it becomes automatic. Which one are you going to try first? The only thing standing between you and every skill on this list is about 7 days of consistent practice.